Hello again, and welcome back to Insure Wealth. I'm Michelle Suskauer, and I'm here today with our expert advisor, Howard Kaye. Welcome, Howard.
Hello, Michelle. It's great to be here again.
I want to say something right at the start. Now, you hear a lot of talk from a lot of salespeople about what they can do with your money. Well, here on Insure Wealth, we want to give you the tools, the knowledge, so that you can make smart decisions on how to ensure your family's future and build wealth for them.
Well, that's right. In fact, we're giving you important information, and you decide what to do with it. We want to cut through the fog of the subject of creating and preserving wealth, so you have the power, the knowledge. We'll give you the examples, questions that you need to ask before you do anything. And if you need more information, the phone number and our website address is on the screen.
That's 561-417-5883 and InsureWealthTV.com. Okay, Howard, let's get started. Now, one thing we know for sure is that you should have a diversified portfolio. But the big question is, what should be in the portfolio?
Well, there's no question about that, Michelle. But let me just say right off the bat, so people understand, I am not a financial advisor. I'm not a registered investment advisor. I'm not a CFP. So much of this is my opinion. I am in the life insurance industry. I sell life insurance. I educate people on the topic of life insurance. So when you pose a question like that to me, what should be in a diversified portfolio, it's very simple. And for the viewers at home, let me tell you exactly what it is. It's life insurance. Why? Well, let me make it very simple and clear. Life insurance, almost without exception, is the only solution that offers an all but guaranteed tax-free dollar amount of return. What does that mean? You give an insurance company X amount of money, and upon death, the insurance company pays to your beneficiaries Y amount of money, a larger sum of money. Now, there are situations based on assumptions or certain guarantees of how these policies work, but that is something we will get to later on in the show and in future shows. But what is it that life insurance can do? It can increase the ultimate value of your IRAs, your retirement funds, your pension funds, up to 20 times in some cases.
20 times?
Yes.
Okay, I like that.
Well,
it's a big number.
It is a big number, but that's the leverage. Why? Because retirement plans are taxed. In some cases, there can be a triple tax. There's an income tax, an estate tax, and then there can be a estate tax and an inheritance tax. So there's so many different things.
Right, which basically dwindles your estate to, seems like almost nothing, because you're saying that there could possibly be a triple tax?
Well, in some cases you may find that the ultimate value of that IRA is worth 25% of its value to the family. Oh. So yes, that's where life insurance can really help leverage that money and create much more. What else can life insurance do? You can discount your estate tax costs up to 90%.
90%. Okay, so how do we do that?
You know, we started discussing the whole estate tax issue probably 25 years ago. And the idea was very simple. If you had a $10 million estate, we knew the estate taxes in round figures were approximately $5 million. At that time, we were able to show a couple age 60 who were in good health and non-smokers, how they could purchase a one-payment insurance policy in the amount of $500,000. Now, they would put $500,000 in, and the death benefit was $5 million. Now, if the estate tax on $10 million is $5 million, and you paid $500,000, is that not 10%?
Yes.
I guess that means you saved 90% on your estate tax costs.
There it is.
But let's be very clear about one thing. I didn't eliminate your estate taxes. I just found another means for which to pay those taxes, and in this instance, we let the life insurance company pay the tax for you.
Okay. Now, for more information, 561-417-5883 or InsureWealthTV.com.
Now, one of my favorite strategies is something where we call life insurance be your own beneficiary or create your own inheritance.
as opposed to waiting and allowing your beneficiaries to reap the benefits of your life insurance. So this is like using the proceeds during your own lifetime?
Right, letting you be the beneficiary.
Okay.
Because one of the things that people dislike, or I should say are disenchanted within life insurance, is that they say, well, it's wonderful what we're creating for so many others, whether it be our children, our grandchildren, our charity.
But what's in it for me?
But what's in it for me?
Right.
Well, here is a program that we created that allows you to be your own beneficiary so that you can create your own inheritance. We call it the 401k plan.
Oh, play on the word
Right.
K.
K-A-Y-E.
Okay, I like it.
Okay.
I like it.
Now, the idea behind the 401k plan, and let me tell you exactly how it was created. I had some people in the office who said to me they were concerned about their retirement. And they told me that they were putting away $20,000 a year into the stock market. They're 45 years of age, and they plan to retire at the age of 70. Now, I'm not one to say whether it's good or bad what they're doing in the market. Let them figure it out.
Right, but the market is volatile, and we don't know what's going to be.
Absolutely.
Right.
And I asked him one very important question, actually he and his wife. I said, what is your goal? And he looked at me with this inquisitive look, and he said, what do you mean, what is my goal? Well, you're putting in $20,000 a year. You plan to do that for the next 25 years. What is your goal? What would you like it to be worth? He had no answer for me, at which point I said, that's okay. I don't believe anybody would have an answer, because does anybody really have a goal when they put the money into the market? The
Right.
goal is they want it to grow.
Make as much money as possible.
Right.
That's the goal.
But do you have a number in mind? And he said, well, no, but I was told how my portfolio will grow if I make 8% or 10% or 12%. I said, quite honestly, I don't know anybody that makes those kind of interest returns on a level basis year in and year out. Maybe a better description would be if you made 8% one year, 12% one year, you lost 6%, you made 3%, you were flat.
But people, it seems like those who invest in the stock market don't have those kinds of conversations, you know, in terms of what is really my goal here.
Absolutely.
It's just they want to make as much as possible, but they don't really think in terms of numbers.
And when was the last time somebody put money into the market and said, if this stock hits X, I'm taking my money out, I'm never going back in the market again?
Nobody.
Nobody.
Right.
You get there, and then you say, oh, maybe it'll go even a little higher.
Because it's a game.
It's a game.
Right.
Correct. So I said to them, go ahead and do what it is you're doing. But we'll play our own game. $10,000 a year, because they're putting $20,000 a year into the market. I said, $10,000 a year, you continue your way. With the $10,000 a year allocated to my program, I'm going to show you how to create $700,000 ultimately completely tax-free at some point during your retirement.
Did you get their attention?
Absolutely. He says, how can you make such a bold statement? You're going to create $700,000. I said, how old are your parents? He said, well, they're 69 years of age. I said, are they in good health, non-smokers? He said, yes. I said, well, guess what? $10,000 a year will purchase a $700,000 life insurance policy on their lives, what we call a survivorship or a last-to-die policy.
Right.
That when both of them pass away, $700,000 tax-free will be paid to you.
And that avoids certain estate taxes.
Well,
Or-
in
or
this case, it's just,
right.
yes, it's all tax-free.
Amazing.
So he says, well, how do I know when I'm going to get it? Well, obviously the answer is when they die, but think of it this way. You told me you're planning to retire in 25 years. 25 years would make them 94. Now, God willing, they're still here.
Right, we want them to be here, but chances are with life expectancy, they probably
They're
won't
not supposed to be here.
Then
And
you have your money.
then you have your money. But if they are still living, wonderful. The fortune that you've made with your $10,000 a year into the market, start enjoying it.
Right.
Live on it, because it's just a matter of time before that other amount of money, the death benefit, will pay off.
Right.
So in this, by using this strategy, you can see how this younger person was able to use an asset that they never knew existed. They used their lives of their parents. But what parent doesn't want to help out their child
Absolutely.
and with no financial burden to the parent?
It's very creative. It
That-
really is. I like it. It's
Thank
a
you.
very,
That's our
very creative.
401k plan.
I like that. that. And you came up with that.
Yes.
That's wonderful.
Well, somebody in my office did.
So that's something that you consider to be part of your portfolio then?
Well, look at it this way. A portfolio may consist of stocks, bonds, could be real estate, could be CDs, treasuries, mutual funds, whatever it is that you invest in. But did you ever think of, and I don't even want to use the word investing, but have you ever thought of putting money into life insurance? It probably just never dawned on you. You look at life insurance as a form of protection. I want to make sure that I have insurance or my husband has insurance in the event that we die and my kids need money.
Right. It's as a possibility that you don't even want to think about, but yet to be part of a portfolio, it seems like that's a crucial piece.
Well, for you, it would be buy insurance on your parents, for example. And in that case, it's a real asset. So
absolutely,
that would, you
a tax-free asset.
Now, if it were older people looking, let's say your parents, for example, and they said to me, would you add life insurance into the portfolio? Well, it's very simple. What is your goals?
Right.
And if the goals of your parents were that we are completely satisfied with the amount of income that we generate, and really the money that we have in this particular area, whether it be stocks, bonds, whatever it is really for the benefit of our children, then I guess the answer is you're really looking now to accumulate or grow this money for the benefit of others or for charity. If that's the case, then absolutely life insurance should be a part of that diversified portfolio, because nothing will compare to the returns of that life insurance, since we know one thing is absolutely guaranteed.
Death.
Unfortunately, you're right. It's death.
And nobody likes talking about it.
But it's a fact of life.
Right. And buying life insurance is not going to hasten your death. And
Correct.
People are scared.
You know,
people are scared.
I was watching the other day Forrest Gump, and as Sally
One of my
Fields
favorites.
was lying in her bed, dying, and Forrest was standing next to her, she said, "Forrest, don't be sad. Death is just a part of life."
That's
or
good.
Dying is just a part of life.
I know that's a moving scene. So when you're looking at your portfolio, what kinds of questions do you ask? I know obviously it depends on who you are and where you are and what stage and what you already have. The goals? Are you looking at the goals that you have?
Well, understand again, when we talk about portfolio, I'm coming from a completely different angle. And why is that? Because as I said in the beginning of the show, I am not a registered investment advisor. I am not a portfolio manager, but I have common sense when I look at things. So I'm looking at it from an insurance perspective of how am I able to increase the ultimate value of something in your life, whether it's for you, for your children, or again, for charity.
Right.
So I like to start with a very organized structure. So how does that work? Well, I really want a listing of what it is that you have and what it is that you want. But here's a very simple and effective and important way to start. Write down in a very orderly way some key information. Now, for many of you, it's going to seem too simple or obvious, but trust me, it's important to write it all down. Now, I like to start with just all of the contact information, because remember, at some point, somebody else may be looking at it, whether it's a professional, whether it's your family, whoever it may be. But put your name down, your date of birth, your occupation, your business. Are you retired or are you still employed? Your primary address. Next, share your information about your family. How many children do you have? How many grandchildren do you have? Are there any special needs?
This is basic information. This is not going to take a brain surgeon to figure it all out. This is information you already know, and you'll be able to rattle this off in a moment or two. What else do you need to do?
Correct, and I just want to say one thing about that point you made. You know, it's like when you ask somebody about what they're worth, their net worth, and where do they have monies, they will start rattling things off the top of their head. But if you have them write it down, all of a sudden they remember certain things that they didn't think. Same thing here. So now we're going to write down the information about who they are, what their assets are, who in their families they want to receive them, who might be surprised to find out what they really have, and what people may want. So this is why we're writing it all down. But let's continue now, as there's a lot more that we need to get together to get started.
Okay.
So, number 3, we're trying to get a good strategy going. So I want to list legal items. Now again, this is for your attorney,
right,
but I'm just helping you put the structure in place.
And this is good for not only your family members, but for your legal counsel as well.
Absolutely.
And you can also figure out what holes you have in terms of what you need to fill in.
Correct.
Okay.
So next, is there a power of attorney for your assets? A power of attorney for health? Do you have a living will? Do you have a living trust? Do you have long-term care insurance? What life insurance do you have, and how much death benefit do you have?
Okay.
Very important.
Very important. What else do you need?
Next, list your income. List your expenses. Are you receiving money from investments? Are you still employed, receiving money from there? What is your pension? Does it end when you end, or do you receive a lump sum? Do you get Social Security? What other income is being generated? And then a column next to it, what your expenses are. Whether you have a mortgage, your utility bills, your food, gas, medicine, medical, all of these things.
I mean, I'm sure there are plenty of people who are watching who've never done any of this. I mean, this is a phenomenal organizational tool, whatever you choose to do with it. But again, in terms of our purposes, this is crucial. You need to put all of this down on paper so you can, formulate what you want to do in your plan.
What's crucial not only for the person that's doing it, but for the ultimate beneficiaries of someone's estate, so
right,
that they know all of the information that's there.
As opposed to, God forbid, after somebody passes away, to sit and go through papers to try to recreate this information.
You know how many people are tight-lipped about it and they don't share this information? So it's good. Open up and share this information. Right. Next, life events. What is it that they want for the rest of their life? Are they looking to move into a larger house? Are they looking to downsize? Are they looking to travel more? Some people want to go on more cruises. Some people want to do improvements to their homes, for example, because
right,
they've got all the grandchildren coming, or some people want a vacation home. Whatever it is, are you looking to start a new business with your children or grandchildren? A lot of time people like to get into those type of ventures. Next, a listing of the assets. Now remember, there's so many different areas, but there's bank accounts, there's stocks, bonds, CDs, annuities, IRAs, life insurance, business interests, and other retirement accounts. Put all of that down.
Right. And then again, if somebody is retired or not retired, there are different questions about that as well.
Let us know. First of all, are you looking to retire? Some people will never retire. But if you plan to retire, when are you planning to retire? And, it's interesting.
Or when would you like to retire?
Right.
Like tomorrow.
You go through so many different stages in life. And I see it with my own parents. My father, I thought, never would retire. Well, finally at 82, he decided to retire.
Right.
But now a whole new list of things pops into his head as to, wait a minute, I don't have the same income coming in anymore that I used to.
Right.
Now, are there other ways for me to generate that income? So things that he may not have thought about in the past become very important. And that's why we say, put down your goals. Really, if you do retire, what is it that you'd like to have happen? Then, objectives along with these goals. Do you need income now? Are you looking for more growth? Are you really looking for growth for the ultimate benefit of your family? Or are you looking for growth for yourself so that you can take more income at a later point? These are all the different ways of how we can help formulate a proper structure or strategy for a particular family situation.
So, Howard, what do you think? I mean, this is a process, and I think you have to take a hard look at yourself, your life, your goals, put all of this information down, and then have conversations with your family, with your friends, the folks that you may survive you, and go through all this information. Don't just put it down, but actually have those conversations.
Absolutely. In this manner, the goal here, if we look back to the beginning of the show, is really to help preserve and to grow your ultimate estate and your wealth, okay? You've worked a long time to amass the size estate that you presently enjoy. Well, it takes work to preserve it.
Right.
Just like it took work to make it, it takes work to keep it. Right. And if we can go down the path of showing people and educating them really on what the different strategies are that will allow them to protect and preserve that wealth for the benefit of their children, their grandchildren, for charities, without affecting their lifestyle in any way,
Right.
then by all means, you've really created a wonderful estate plan. And I think beyond that, the most important part is keep it simple. What was the old
KISS,
KISS, right?
keep it simple, stupid.
Right.
Right, okay.
Simplicity is everything.
Right.
Because as a child, ultimately, when your parents pass away, you don't want to be sitting there reading volumes of material
No.
to try to figure out what it is that all the attorneys or the accountants or whatever financial professionals put together. You'd like it very simply laid out.
Right.
And if there's a way to know this is what they have, this is what our taxes are going to be, this is what the insurance will do, these are where all the different assets are, investments and things, wow, it makes life so much easier.
Well, because we are our best, most accurate historians about who we are and what we want and the information that we have. And there are things that our children can't fill in and shouldn't fill in for us, or our parents, or our friends, or our lawyers, or our accountants, or our insurance advisors. I mean, this is the only person who could really fill this out are ourselves.
Correct.
And I think that the information that you've given is crucial. I think it really is an incredible organizational tool. I think people are going to be taping this show and then rewinding it and writing things down, or they could, obviously call and go on our website as well.
And Michelle, I want to make one other point. While people have always, or typically I would say, estate planning has been focused on the senior market. That's really who have been looking to utilize life insurance and other programs to offset the estate taxes and set everything up.
That's short-sighted.
It's really for everybody. And I'm finding in life now, in our professional life, that younger people really are starting to focus. People in their late 40s, in their 50s, early 60s. If you were to ask me why is it different than what it was in the past, why was it always being focused on people in their 70s and 80s, which oddly enough, people say, you can buy life insurance at that age? Well, absolutely.
Why is that?
Our average clients were 70 and 80,
Right.
or are 70 and 80. But the reason is because as people go through different stages in their life, they realize what they need and what they don't need. And many times when people are in their 50s, they've just become empty nesters. For them to start focusing on their estate planning, death is not in their scope at this point.
Right.
And it's not going to happen to them. And they're now adjusting, what will life be like without the children at home? What extra monies do we have or don't we have? Because now we may be paying for college.
Right.
People get in their 60s. Now the kids are theoretically on their own, in their own careers.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed.
Okay.
Are you still supporting them or not? These are the things. So when people reach their 70s, they pretty much know where they're at. The kids really are gone. Many people have retired by that point. They know what monies they have. They understand what the tax liabilities are. And they say, now it's time to focus on these things. But, as I've said, through recent times, younger and younger ages are now starting to focus on this subject, which is very important. And the younger you are, the leverage within life insurance and what can be done is like nothing you've ever seen. It's incredible.
So really the focus is to start young, to start early, and although I don't want anyone to think it's too late for me.
No, start anytime.
Anytime, but start.
Start,
okay,
exactly.
Because really the big problem is not starting and not reviewing your portfolio and not reviewing all of the basic information that you already expressed to us. So,
Correct.
I mean, this has really been a great first step toward creating and preserving wealth. And I know you have something very special in store for us next week.
That's right, Michelle. Next week, we're going to show you how you can win and you cannot lose. And for those of you who may be in poor health and are unable to obtain life insurance, we've got something that will not only come as a big surprise, but will show you how you can even leave some extra monies, extra benefit for your heirs.
Win and can't lose. I like that.
It's a good topic.
I like that. Thanks again. And for more information, 561-417-5883. and InsureWealthTV.com.